Hello dear students. In the previous classes we were discussing about the structure and bonding in coordination compounds. We have already discussed about the Werner's theory and Sidgwick theory. So let us continue our discussion on the structure and bonding of the coordination compounds by valence bond theory or VBT. Valence bond theory or VBT. Okay. So this theory, valence bond theory, was proposed by Linus Pauling to explain the bonding in coordination compounds. So this valence bond theory, he was given in the form of the assumptions or postulates. Okay. So let us see what are the postulates of this valence bond theory. So according to Linus Pauling, so that is according to the valence bond theory, the central metal atom, the central metal atom, the central metal atom or ion in a coordination compound will provide, it will provide definite number of, it will provide definite number of vacant orbitals. Vacant orbitals for the formation of coordination bonds. So the second postulate is that under the influence of strong ligands, okay, so when the strong ligands approaches the central metal atom or ion, okay, so the unpaired electrons present in the central metal atom, so the unpaired electrons present in the central metal atom or ion gets paired up. So they gets paired up. Okay. So this is against the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Okay. So whenever in a coordination complex, the strong ligands, like for example ammonia or cyanide, so when such strong ligands approaches the central metal atom or ion, the unpaired electrons present in the central metal atom or ion gets paired up against the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Okay, so this is called as the spin pairing. Okay, so this is known as the spin pairing. Okay, so this is the second postulate of the valence bond theory. So let us see the other postulate. So number 3, so this vacant orbitals present in the central metal atom, so the vacant orbitals present in the central metal atom or ion undergoes hybridization. So they undergo hybridization. So the hybrid orbitals, so the hybrid orbitals will be directed towards the definite position. So that will give rise to the definite geometry to the coordination compound. Okay, so the vacant orbitals present in the central metal atom or ion undergoes hybridization. So the hybrid orbitals will be directed to the position of the ligands to form a definite geometrical structure. Okay, so the next one is, so if the inner n minus 1 orbitals, if inner 1 minus 1 d orbitals are involved in the hybridization, okay, so then the complex is called as the inner orbital complex. Inner orbital complex, or it can also be called as the low spin complex. It is called as the low spin complex. So when the d orbital which is present in the central metal atom or ion undergoes hybridization, if during the hybridization, if n minus 1 d orbitals are used, so then the complex formed is called as the inner orbital complex. So this here the inner indicates that in the formation of this complex, so the inner n minus 1 d orbitals are involved, so which is called as the low spin complex. So similarly, if outer if outer nd orbitals are involved in the hybridization, so that is nd orbitals of the central metal atom or ions are involved in the hybridization, so then the complex is called as the outer orbital complex. So outer orbital complex, it is also called as the high spin complex. High spin complex. Okay. So next, let us see one more postulate. Okay. So a ligand should contain at least one lone pair of electrons. Okay. So if a species acts as a ligand means, so that the species should contain at least one lone pair of electrons. One lone pair of electrons. So which that lone pair of electron can be used by the central metal atom to form the coordination bond. So the next one, number 6, is that a complex formed will be paramagnetic. Okay. Paramagnetic if the complex contains unpaired electrons. Okay. So similarly, the the complex formed will be diamagnetic if there is no unpaired electrons. If unpaired electrons are absent, so then the complex is said to be a diamagnetic complex. Okay. If more than two unpaired electrons are present, so then such substances will be ferromagnetic in nature. Okay. So these are the postulates of valence bond theory. So let us see once again. So the valence bond theory was given by the scientist called as Linus Pauling. So according to him, the central metal atom or ion will provide definite number of vacant orbitals for the formation of the coordinate bonds. So when strong ligands approaches the central metal atom or ion, the unpaired electrons present in the metal atom or ion gets paired up against the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, so which is called as spin pairing. So the vacant orbitals present in the central metal atom or ion undergoes hybridization to form hybrid orbitals. So these hybrid orbitals will be directed towards a definite position, okay, that will give the geometry to the complex. So during the hybridization, if the inner n minus 1 orbitals of the central metal atom are involved in the hybridization, so then the complex formed will be known as the inner orbital complex or the low spin complex. So if the outer nd orbitals of the central metal atom or ion are involved in the hybridization, so then the complex formed will be called as the outer orbital complex or high spin complex. Okay. So a ligand contains at least one lone pair of electron, so which can be used for the bonding with the central metal atom or ion. So if a complex formed contains unpaired electrons, so then the complex is said to be paramagnetic. So if the complex doesn't contain any unpaired electrons, so the complex So is known as the diamagnetic complex. Okay, so these are the postulates of valence bond theory. So now, so based on the valence bond theory, so let us explain in the next class. Let us we shall explain the geometry and the magnetic properties of some of the complexes.